Today, Amazon just released 23 new images and pictures, little sneak peeks at their new show that's coming out this September, Lord of the Rings on Prime, or in other words, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Today, we are going to break down each one of these 23 images. I'm a Lord of the Rings, I like to consider myself a Lord of the Rings nerd. I have read all of the books over 4 times, including all of Tolkien's original writings and things like that. And then Sean, not quite as much of a Tolkien expert. So
I read the main 3 in The Hobbit.
The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
So most of this is going to be Landon explaining to me exactly what's going on. So I'll be trying to help clarify some of the weird stuff he says for the rest of us.
We kind of both agreed that a lot of people don't have a lot of knowledge on the second age of the Lord of the Rings, you know, the Middle Earth timeline. And I do, and we figured that a lot of you don't, and Sean doesn't. So this might be a good video to help you understand a little bit better what the heck is going on and what these images are about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. And just for context, we're going to be doing 3 videos because there's a lot of images and a lot of things to break down. So this is going to be part 1. We're going to do 8 images in this one, 8 images in the next video, part 2, and then 7 in the final video. But let's go ahead and jump right into it with the first image. And what are your first thoughts on this?
It's dwarvish, right? I think, is that a hammer or an anvil? It's a hammer. And obviously the gold on his hands.
Yep.
So, dwarf.
And you can see his red beard coming through above his hands, which is pretty sweet. The first thing that I thought when I saw this was, you know, I was thinking about the other dwarves that we know in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and in The Hobbit. And obviously Gimli, he's a red-headed dwarf, little ginger snap over there. But the one that came to my mind was actually Dane, which is the dwarvish lord that comes to help Thorin in The Hobbit when they have the Battle of 5 Armies.
Did the dwarves live that long?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is probably Dane might have descended from this dwarf.
Oh, okay. So his ancestor.
Exactly. So that's one of my first theories with this image. But one of my main theories is this actually could be Durin himself.
Okay.
So you've heard Durin, right? Like they always say Durin's folk.
Durin's Bane and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically what happened when dwarves were first made, there were 7 of them. Like literally 7 dwarfs made. And Durin was one of the first dwarfs that was created. He was one of the 7, 7 dwarves with 7 in their 7 halls of iron stone. Well, he's one of the original dwarf communities came from Durin. And it's said that Durin was reincarnated 7 times. So he didn't live this long. He only lived to be over 1,000 years old. So he wouldn't be in the second age unless it was a reincarnated Durin, which could be a possibility. I don't want to dive into that too much, but if not, I think it's just going to be a dwarf lord that's going to get one of the rings.
Okay.
You can see some of the rings on here. Obviously, the dude's got some wealth, some money, but I don't think any of these are rings of power. Personally. Okay. I don't know if you got that from looking at it, but
I couldn't tell you if I saw them, but I know vaguely what they are.
Right. So I've actually done some research recently into rings of power, and it's going to be something we focus on a lot in these videos. Rings of power, the main ones, the 7 that were given to dwarves, 9 that were given to men, 3 that the elves had, they all had gems. It's actually stated that they all had gems, except for the Ring of Power. Why did the Ring of Power not have a gem? Well, before the Rings of Power, there was a lot of minor powerful rings made, and they were just kind of like tests, and they didn't look that great. They didn't have gems. That's why Sauron made his without a gem to make it look like it was just a minor ring. Anyways, side note, this doesn't have no gems here on this dwarf's ring, so I don't think that's the case. But let's go ahead and jump into our second image. This one of my favorites.
Personally. Right. I mean, that is a freaking sweet sword.
Cool. I mean, you notice it's broken at the top.
I didn't notice that, actually.
I've looked at this image a lot today. So I noticed it. I've read through a lot of comments on a lot of posts, watched a lot of videos from some of the other big Lord of the Rings YouTube channels. And yes, it is broken. So that is an interesting thing. A lot of people are theorizing that this is going to be Isildur. I'm not sure. I don't think it is, personally. I don't think it's going to be Isildur. Some people are thinking that this sword, since it's a black blade, it might be one of the the sword. It's called Gurthing. It's mentioned in the Silmarillion. It's a black blade that Turinbar uses to kill a dragon, one of the first dragons.
Okay. I mean, that's big pulling power, right? If Amazon's looking to really get a lot of people, and they're putting the money into it,
exactly,
they're gonna have a dragon fight. So that sounds about right.
So I don't know that was in the first age, that whole fight with him and the dragon. So it would be before the time of this, but there still could be dragons in the second age that they pull into the series.
Oh, okay.
And this sword would still be around somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it would be that scene, but it would be definitely an eye catcher and something that they could pull plot from for later. So I think, that's the Black Blade. I personally think that this is going to be one of the 9 ring wraiths, one of the 9 Nazgul. I think it's sketchy looking. It's darker. We'll see later in some of these other images. It's a lot of light. A lot of, you can tell it's like a good guy. Mm-hmm. This doesn't give me good guy vibes.
But, and we're not seeing his other hand, so the ring is on his other hand.
Which is my theory for a lot of these, because we only see one hand in most of these, and we don't see that many rings in a lot of these. Okay. So I think a lot of the rings of power are hidden, whether it's saying like, the ring's on the other hand, or whether it's saying like, these people are going to get rings later at some point. Like, here's the character, right now he doesn't have a ring. He will, though. So, something to keep in mind.
Fair enough.
And last thing on this one, like I said, the Black Blade, I think it could be a Black Numenorian, which, Mouth of Sauron.
Right.
Black Numenorian, just evil. We'll talk about Numenorians later. It's a big part of the Second Age, a big civilization of really powerful, long-lived men. Okay. A lot of them went bad, went dark, went to Sauron. Some of them became ring wraiths. I think this could be a foreshadow, the Black Numenorian, Black Sword. Okay. So, let's go on to the next one. This one, weird, right? Yeah, very different.
It looks to me like kind of a out there side story type idea, right? Mm-hmm. This is somebody that may be important, but not super.
Agreed. This doesn't look like it would be a character that we would recognize from the books, in my opinion. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that with a lot of these images. Looking pregnant to me. Do you get that vibe?
I mean, it's a weird stance to hold. Mm. Like maybe a noblewoman sitting like standing. Yep. But she doesn't look like a noblewoman. She looks kind of more like.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see pictures that look like noblewoman. This does not look like. Yeah. I mean, this looks like poverty. Some issues there financially, definitely.
I mean, like, there's theories out there that they're trying to copy Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. The kind of like grittiness of it.
Get that vibe.
Which I can see them doing. I'm glad they're not going full like TVMA with all the
confirmed
sex
TV-14.
And I'm guessing this might be like one of those political moves where maybe some guy got some girl pregnant that he shouldn't have. Mm.
If it is a pregnancy thing, I think they would only put it in if the child that's going to be born is going to be a big character in future seasons. Okay. So could it be a Numenorian maybe, where a Numenorian king that's very famous in the books like Aldarion or some of these other Numenorian kings might come from it? Maybe. I think if they're going to make... if they're making a poster about it, it's going to be big.
Maybe it's Aragorn's mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Aragorn's great. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. This is another one going into the next one that I have no idea about. There's really not much here. I mean, you see this book. It seems to have waves. Oh, I just scrolled down. It seems to have waves and like a fish. Kind of weird. It's a female, might be a child. It's kind of hard to say. The only thing that I can really go with this one is Numenorian. The Numenorians, as I've talked about before in this video, and I will talk about a lot later, they lived on an island, not in Middle-earth. They had their own country. Numenor. Yeah. Exactly, Numenorians. Yeah. And they were known as like the Navy. Like that was their thing. They were shipbuilders, and they had the craziest Navy that has ever existed in Middle-earth history. So that's all I got with this one. I really don't know if there's much more. Maybe this book is of importance in the series somehow. No idea.
Maybe it's like a genealogy, right? Who knows?
Yeah, that could definitely be it. That's a big part of Tolkien's writings is genealogy, knowing families, who you're descended from. Even hobbits are very into it. It's very important to them. So this one is is it this one? Yes. One of the coolest ever. So let me give you a little quick history. Glorfindel. You ever heard of that name?
Glorfindel.
You write it down, man, and you look it up later. So in the movies, picture the movies. Remember when Frodo gets stabbed by the Ring Wraith in the Fellowship of the Ring, and then Arwen comes on the white horse.
Oh, right, that guy. Wait, so the guy, because in the books,
it's a guy.
It's a guy.
It's an elf. It's an elf lord, not only just a normal elf. Like Legolas, I hate to call Legolas a normal elf, but Legolas never went to the country where the gods lived. This is like a Noldor elf, Glorfindel. He lived back in the First Age. He had been to Valinor. Big deal. He actually died killing a Balrog by himself. He killed a Balrog, 1v1'd him. They both died, fell off a mountain. Like, big epic guy. Well, guess what? He gets resurrected, comes back to Middle-earth, helps out Frodo, participates in the council about the ring in Rivendell. Big character in the books that is just mentioned in the Lord of the Rings books, but awesome. He was of the House of the Golden Flower, so you can kind of see,
Wait, so when did he kill the Balrog? Was it during this time period?
No, this is before.
Oh, okay.
But he had been resurrected in the Second Age, comes back to help out. Okay. So he would be around this time.
I want to see someone fight a Balrog.
I know. Yes, I think that would be epic. So I think that could be who this is. A lot of people are speculating that this is Anarion, who was Isildur's brother.
Okay.
Which translates to son, like child, son of the sun. And you can see like a sun image here.
Yeah, but he looks way too decked out in fancy armor. That's definitely elvish.
It looks elvish to me, and if this is Glorfindel, you see a ring.
His hands are clean.
Yeah.
It's an elf.
Dude, if this is Glorfindel, we got some good stuff coming. Next image, this one's interesting. You can see a little bit darker of her skin tone, so I love that. I love that they're kind of bringing in a lot of new potential nationalities, or just mixing that into the...
And Lord of the Rings has that, right? It's a whole massive continent. It'd be like, taking Asia and Europe, and, you have all these people. And I love it when... like, for example, The Witcher did this horribly, right? They do have a diverse cast, but it doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah. They're like, there's black people, Asians, and people from the Middle East, and they're all just like kind of hodgepodge together. But if they make it so that, different nationalities are from different nations, that makes sense in a storyline. Yes. And it makes having a diverse cast be more powerful. And I just think it's just way cool. So very exciting.
I think that we'll see this in more images to come, but... I think there's going to be a lot of potential with Harad and Umbar and the Easterlings, people that we saw in that one of the final Return of the King battles in front of Gondor. We saw a lot of different nationalities from Middle-earth coming together, but I think we're going to get more of that. With this one, though, this is so crazy because this is a white flower, and the white tree of Gondor, which you're probably familiar with in Lord of the Rings, came from a tree in Numenor, Nimloth, a white tree that would probably have white blossoms like this, which came from one of the original white trees in Valinor. One of the first two trees, Tyrion or... I don't have the name here. I have it written down. We'll talk about it later. But we've seen that in the first image that they released of the show. Right. They had the two trees there. Oh. So people are speculating that this is actually Miriel, who was the wife of one of the first elves ever. Lives in Valinor, the wife of Finwë. So possible there with a little reference to the white tree of Gondor and where it actually came from back at the dawn of time. So going on to the next one, I really don't have much on this one. All I can say is I think that this is a new character. It's going to be somebody they introduce with the story and looks like a man. Doesn't look like an elf, doesn't look like a dwarf.
Right.
So, you see his ropes, Numenorians, like I said.
He looks young. They gotta have a young, strapping, main character to draw.
He's got a ring. I don't know if the ring is saying, hey, this guy's gonna get a ring later. And it's not gonna be a good ring. Maybe this is a character that we fall in love with. He's a good guy.
And he, falls to evil?
Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. Somebody that you really, adapt to, and then they just has a sad character arc.
And like I said before, Lord of the Rings... in my mind, Jeff Bezos is I want a Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have this. It's going to be epic, right? Who knows how much we're going to... I have a lot of faith. Yeah. I have a lot of hope.
I actually do too.
Which I hate saying that because...
It can get crushed.
But at the same time, if they do something like that kind of subverts our expectations, like Game of Thrones was known for, right? That's kind of the new thing. Hopefully they do it right, in that we have this character that we really love, and he eventually becomes bad, and we get a little bit of we feel the pain of these ring wraiths. Maybe he's one of those.
Yes.
We feel that pain a little bit. Who knows?
The only thing that I would counter that ideal with is he doesn't. I mean, I guess his raiment does look kind of nice.
Well, he could be like the beggar king or beggar prince, right? Where like he's like out there running around, like not doing what his dad wants him to. He's like a prince, and he's like causing trouble.
I can see that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Ropes could mean something with ship, being on ships a lot and stuff, manning the craft and all that, and that would be a big Numenorian Easter egg there.
Yep.
This one, again, I think this is going to be the introduction of a new nationality, whether that's Easterlings or Umbar, Corsehairs, Harad. Like, this is something that we haven't seen in any of Tolkien's work. This, what do you call this? Like not a scythe. Is this a scythe?
It's oh gosh, what are those weapons called?
Somebody mentioned it.
It's for horseback riding.
Is it?
Yeah, that's when you have a curved blade like that. It's for chopping off heads.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, and we've seen a lot of chopped off heads in The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. I mean,
like again, back to Game of Thrones. That's exactly what the oh gosh, what are they called? The Horse Lord people.
Okay, this is interesting. So you mentioned chopped off heads. Could this be used in human sacrifices? What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. It's not decorative enough.
True. That's a good point.
A sacrificial blade is usually like really fancy.
Yeah. The only reason I mention that is because the Numenorians, I mean, like I said, they were like the fleet, the army, the guys. But then they go down this really dark path and become like cultists. Like, they start worshiping Morgoth, who was basically Sauron's big bad boss back in the day.
He's the devil, right?
Yes. The devil of Tolkien's work, you could say, definitely. They start doing human sacrifices. So I thought maybe that's a reference to it, but I agree, it's not quite glorified enough.
Yeah, it's not decorative enough. But, I mean, we'll see. To me, it's about the horse mindset. Maybe I don't know.
I like the idea, though, of kind of horse combat, new nationality, new type of people that we see.
Very like Serpent Lord, like,
Yep.
The evil
Southrongs kind of
all
deal.
All those people,
This is going to be the end of part 1. We just reviewed the first 8 images of the Lord of the Rings on Prime, or in other words, the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. We just broke down these first 8. We've got 8 more to go for the next video, and then 7 more for the third one. We hope you enjoyed this, because, man, I've been dying all day. I couldn't work today. I was like, I need to freaking talk about this video. It's killing me. This is amazing.
I'm getting hyped. Like,
me too.
I'm always nervous about big budget shows that have really important IPs, right? Like this property, this intellectual property, that's what IP means, if you didn't know. It is something that we grew up with, right? Like, I remember my parents not wanting me to watch, like, Fellowship of the Ring, and, like, sneaking that and watching it.
So good.
Because when you're little, you shouldn't really be watching.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
Life
but, like,
molding.
you're just like, what? Like,
Agreed.
the Urukai guys running around. And it's like, that's my childhood. So, this is another step in that direction. And hopefully it's good. Yeah,
I know a lot of people that are, they're worried, and I would say this stuff like this, making moves like this with high production quality poster images, I think that they're just showing, like, hey, we're taking this seriously. This is high quality stuff, in my opinion, and I think we're in good hands. There's so many Tolkien fans out there. If they don't tap into that resource, they'll lose everything. Then they'll lose everything. So I hope they're doing that. Hopefully they hired some Tolkienologists. Yes. And, they have. I mean, they have Tolkien's estate that they're working directly with, so that helps. But anyways, check out the next video. I'll put a card and a link in the description for the next 2 videos that we're making in this series, and we will see you soon.